So my dust collection system is almost maintenance free. I have to do this every now and then because I have a cat. Because I have a cat and she sheds this time of year, there's a lot of cat hair that ends up in the dust collection system, and that ends up in my dust dumper here. And those screens is where the exhaust flow comes out. And the cat hair builds up and then creates these mats up against the screens, and then the mats collect dust and it creates a layer that is difficult to remove. In order to keep the cat hair from building up in my system, I have to open up my dust dumper. I took the front door off here. You can see all the clumps of cat hair building up in here. And there's also a lot of cat hair that's in the silo itself that is probably settled in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up all of the blast gates in my dust collection system. Okay, so that's pretty much all my blast gates are open. So now when I turn my dust collection system on, I'm going to generate maximum airflow and maximum turbulence inside my system. So that is going to flush out a lot of the fine dust that has built up in the pipes in the silo and the dust dumper. And it's also going to flush out the cat hair, which builds up on my exhaust screens and creates airflow problems. So I'm going to put the camera out. I can't stand outside because it kind of makes an explosion of dust. There's a lot of dust that builds up inside the silo. It made a little bit of a mess outside here, but it's not in the shop. Rain will wash that away. Alright, that is what I call a system purge. So I let that run for maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and you can see just the amount of sawdust that was just belching out continuously. And I think that kind of illustrates the advantage of having this kind of system. Because all that fine dust that was just bellowing out into the wind and blowing away would be the dust that would be filtered if you had a filter inside. So, and that's a lot of mass too. I mean, I don't know if there's a way to calculate the amount of mass of sawdust and volume, but you know, to be able to just let it go outside and have it mostly blow away is a real advantage, because all I had to do was open up all my blast gates and let the system run for 5 minutes, and all of that dust that would have to be collected inside the shop and maintained is just being blown outside. It's just being carried off by the wind. So all that work that I would have to do to maintain a filter, in conjunction with having the hazard of all that dust inside the shop and all the potential problems that can cause, it's just gone away because I'm exhausting. And I will say, when I was running this inside filter, this happened to me 2 times, when I forgot to spin this little thing around. It has these fins inside that clean the filter. So if I do this periodically, it shakes off the cake that builds up inside. But if I forget to do that, or if I'm just doing a lot of fine dust cutting and it's building up and I'm not paying attention, if I forget to maintain this filter, the air resistance builds up inside here. And then the pressure, if I open up too many blast gates, the pressure inside could actually pop this thing off. And that happened to me twice, where this thing just pops off like a bottle rocket, and it just you have a dust explosion inside the shop. And after that happened to me twice, I was like, you know what? Having a filter inside the shop is just not worth it. It's not worth it when that happens. You know, for all the work that it takes to maintain a filter, keep an eye on it, keep checking it, it's just nice to know that I just don't have to deal with that. That all that fine dust and all that hazard potential is just going outside where it really belongs. But it's funny, I'll forget to do the system purge, and then I'll remember because I have the cat hair problem. Because the cat hair will actually shut my system down.